Academy, and I'm your host, Princess Francisca Obichimize. It is my pleasure to have you in this meeting today. We've been talking about family patterns and how to rewrite, how to change, how to prevent repetition of what we experienced as children becoming adults. And today again, we are going to talk about um, rewriting your family story, rewriting how to change your family legacy before it repeats, how to stop what you need to stop before it repeats in our children. And the truth is that we cannot see any change except we intentionally reflect around what we go through, what we are seeing in our families, and think of how to make that change. All right. Yes, welcome back again. So in this series, in this episode, we are talking about changing the family legacy. Some of us, if we are sincere to ourselves, if we are sincere and honest, there are things we see today that we think this shouldn't be. Like we should do better. So we are going to do a reflective session today to look at our life, our family. What exactly are we doing that we think shouldn't be there, or we think is not really right? Right? Hi, welcome to this session. Thank you for joining us. I'm fine, Yogi. Thank you to being in this live session with me. And I welcome everyone. Kindly share and subscribe as we talk about how to make a change in family legacies, how to avoid our children repeating patterns. Okay, and the beginning point is realizing or understanding what is family legacy, which is what we are going to talk about first, because you need to understand what legacy is and then think about, is there any need for a change, and what exactly are we changing? So by now we should understand that legacy is not what we live in, what possessions we leave for our children, but what we live in them. What are our children becoming? What life standard and culture are we building around our children, that when we are no more, we know that they are going to replicate it? And can I be truthful to us? Don't think your children will pick up a pattern from you and drop it suddenly. So in our last session, I told us that anything we don't want to be repeated, anything we don't want to see in our children, don't do that. Don't let it happen or operate or function in your home. Okay, we have the major stakehold or responsibility in what our children becomes. That is legacy. So our intentional attitude, act every day, point our children to the direction of what they will become. So what our children becomes is those things they see every day, what we call a neural mirror. So the brain of the children are able to mirror, that's the part of the brain, right? The neurons wired in the brain is able to pick, is able to capture, is able to replicate what they consistently see. And that is why we have to be intentional. I usually give us example that when you look at your children, just stay back, don't let them see you. When you see them, the way they interact with one another, depending on the number they are, you will see them doing things exactly the way you relate with them. That is mirroring. That is the neuron, the brain replicating what they see, what they feel, and what they experience on a day-to-day activity. So every family have a story, and we must intentionally curate and build our own story, what we want to see in our children, what we want them to become. We cannot run a home unintentionally. Kesera kesera. That's not how it ought to be. We cannot look at our family and we are living in frustration, hopelessness, or allow things to go wrong and we feel there's no way out. No, there's a way out. A way to say, no, this is not what I want. And sit down as a family, as a parent, and structure what kind of family do we want to have? What kind of children do we want to have? What kind of legacy do we want to be known for? How do we imprint our name in the sound of time? Every family has an opportunity to create a legacy of what they want to be known for. Can people look at your family today, tomorrow, few years to come and say, this family has been this family have been on the positive side or on the negative side, this family has been a blessing? Or will they look around and say, those family, I don't even know what they are like? You can't operate a family that don't have any intention of making impact in their generation. What you will be doing is shortchanging your children. Yes, we don't realize that when we live a life that just sits back to watch the world happen, we are limiting our children. We are not giving them that seat of making relevant impact in their generation. But when you take up the responsibility of building an intentional family, you will raise children whose minds are wired differently, children who understand that there is a meaning, there is a reason, and there's an intention for every act. Okay, so not just the story told in the pictures and celebrations, but everything we do every day, we are making up a story. We are creating a memory in the mind and brain of our children on a daily basis. So sometimes when you catch yourself frustrated, shouting, and stressed out, remember that is the picture you are creating in the mind of your children, that in years to come, their brain at its wired will remember what it's like as a child, living in a hostile home, living in a peaceful home, living in a home where they don't have or where they have full expression. So something like the way we communicate, the way we handle conflict, the way we express love, how mistakes are treated, all these things are our daily imprint in the mind and the heart of our children. And that is what determines and reflects their life and their choices. So I've told us how our family background, relationship, and the things we allow in the home even determine the choices of our children. So we hear the stories of children becoming adults, and any little opportunity they just want to go marry off, they just want to run away from home, not because they love the man or the woman, not because they are ready for marriage, not because they feel worthy or cherish to be in that marriage, not because they understand what marriage is all about. No, because they want to run away from our home. So the question today is, what legacy are we building? What kind of home are we building? Is it a home where our children are happy to come back? A home where they feel they are embraced? A home where they feel they are celebrated? Is it a place where our children are glowing, blossoming, and fulfilling their destiny? Is it a home where our children are discovering who they are, why they have been created, and being supported and empowered to walk in that line? Is it a home where children are helped to align to God's plan and purpose for them? Or is it a home full of emotional pressure, full of conflict, where mommy and daddy are always shouting on top of each other, where everybody is frowning their face, people are struggling to survive? I know things are difficult, but can we be intentional about not losing our home too in the midst of the chaotic world and the pressures and troubles of life? At least can we preserve what is most important to us, our family, our marriage, our children? Because these are the things that count, that you will look back in 10 years, 20 years to come. You may lose your job, you may lose your business, but do you still have that peace of mind? Do you still have your home united? Even if they have grown and they have married, can we say, I didn't labor in vain? I've seen parents grow old and they live in regret, not because they didn't do their best. They did. They stretched themselves. They went through a lot just to make sure that their children are the best. But do you know, at the end of their life, those children ignores them. Those children despises them. Those children see them as burden. The question is this the kind of family I want to build? Is it the kind of legacy I want to build? Is it the kind of children that when they get old, they no longer want to be around? They no longer want to call. In fact, you are the one chasing after them to call you. You are the one complaining. Since you've not been calling, and they feel you are now a burden to them. So we need to understand how legacy are intentionally built. So when we keep doing things, it become normal. And when things are becoming normal, they become a culture. They become a pattern subconsciously registered, wired in the neurons. And then when it becomes a culture, it becomes inheritance. If you look at yourself, some of the things you are doing today was because they were done to you when you were a child, but you did not realize the impact until you find yourself doing it. And some of us, it's even difficult to trace back until you have a reflective session or someone calls your attention to it. So that's why you see us saying that's how we were raised. But that's how you were raised. The question is, the children you are raising, are they in similar environment? Are they in similar generation? Are they in similar if your children are exposed exactly you are exposed, the outcome might be different. Yes, I assure you. And if you were exposed to what your children are being exposed to now in this generation, your own outcome might be different. So we have to be sensitive to ask, what works for my children in this dispensation? Ask for direction from God. Pray about it, but get information. Work with knowledge and apply it with wisdom. Is that knowledge and wisdom that help you to manage the unique nature, need, and demand of your children in this dispensation. Look at your own family. What are the things that happened that you don't want to see in your own children? What can you do to ensure that you don't repeat the same mistake? Because some of us, the exact thing we hated in our parents, we see ourselves repeating it. It's because it has been wired in your neuron. And that's why we talk about healing childhood trauma, which is not our topic today. But the question is, how can we help to ensure we don't repeat the wrong things that happen to us? How can we rewrite our story to make sure that our children don't repeat our experiences on even more adverse experiences or effects of our negative experiences? So evidence-based research, like I've always reflect on, is saying that in family systems show that children internalize patterns of behaviors and emotional responses from caregivers, especially in high stress moments. Your children don't understand stress as stress because they are children. They don't process information the same way, right? So you are stressed, but what they are seeing is maybe you are aggressive, you hate them, they personalize it. So more like they are the ones wrong. It might be stress from work you brought home. You are transferring aggression to them. Of course, they might have done something wrong, but the way you react, the way you respond, the way you handle the situation, it becomes an internalized behavior for your children. So these patterns will often repeat in childhood. We often the pattern we are creating in the childhood will repeat in adulthood. So you see them repeating what you were doing with them as a child in adulthood. And that's why how we too, we are repeating ours in adulthood without realizing that that was the exact picture that was painted when we were growing up. So this same research is saying, but this can be changed by conscious pattern rearrangement. So there's something we call, I've said, neuron mirroring. If you want to change a pattern in your child or in a child, even in an adult, all you need is to start replacing the negative with the positive. So you see a behavior that is being repeated, and you know it's not what you want to see in your children, it's not what you want to see in your family. You can draft a positive or opposite behavior and consciously start doing it and repeating it. The program your mindset is what reprograms the neuron in your children, because this is now the pattern they are seeing. This is now what they are seeing. So for example, in psychology they will teach you, if you want to change a behavior, repeat the opposite behavior consistently at least for 21 days. What you are doing is, instead of putting emphasis on the negative behavior, put emphasis on the positive behavior you want to see. Whatever we emphasize on, whatever we put attention to, expand. So when a child is misbehaving, instead of always hammering, complaining, highlighting that behavior, start speaking the positive behavior you want to see in that child and exposing that child to that positive behavior consistently for at least 21 days. You will see that child capture the new behavior and then let go of the old one, as far as you have reduce or stop emphasizing on that negative behavior. So without intentional effort, things will repeat automatically. That's what we call legacy. So now we've talked about what legacy means and how it reflects in our daily life. We're talking about the cost of not rewriting your story. Remember, the target is not just to talk about legacy, how legacy is built, but how to rewrite the story of the negative patterns, negative family pathways and behaviors we don't want to be repeated. So if patterns are not changed, they do not stay small, like we say, they grow. Because if you don't change something, it's like, the more you're adding block, the more you are building. The same way in building any structure, building a house, an industry, you have to put a block upon the another because it becomes a complete building. So if you don't change a way of life, you continue doing that, what you are doing is building that behavior. You've done it today, tomorrow you've repeated it. What are you doing? You are building on top of another. You are building a big structure. So any pattern you left unchanged, meaning you are doing it consistently, grows. It becomes a mountain. So you see them grow into breakdown, grow into unforgiveness, bitterness, emotional distance, and you wonder why people are from the same family but they cannot relate properly. So you see, people are struggling with identity because children have been uh, abused, not probably not physically, maybe verbally. Sometimes the way we talk to children, we don't know that we are abusing them mentally. You make them second guess themselves, you make them doubt themselves, you make them wonder if they are good enough. They grow up with identity struggle. And sometimes parents don't take responsibility for this, but they are real. So children may not remember every word you say or even what you said, but they will always remember how you make them feel. They will remember how safe they felt around you, how they were corrected. They will remember how you handled conflict, how you handled their mistakes, and that's what will determine their relationship with you, if they will come next time. That's what will determine if they make mistake, they will come home or they will run away. So what we are building is a system that enables families to build something that lasts. And you have to mirror that thing you want to see. What kind of family do I want to see? We see in the next 20, 40 years. We are tired of seeing broken families. Families that started with so much hope, so much happiness on the altar of marriage, and then they labor all their life. They put all effort to build a system, a home, and then they see it crumble before them. The question is, why do we have to go through all that to get this result? You can determine your result by what you are choosing today to do. An intentional act, not just wishes. If you must get result, you must put up intentional act. Thank you, Mark Bazen. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate this. Please kindly share to other family you know and you love. So what we are saying is, I see families struggle so much to build something tangible, raise responsible children, but then the relationship is broken. The cord, the connection is shattered. When the children becomes adults, you see them seeking to run away from home. So you see children wanting to get off their family, and you see young girls rushing to marry because they no longer feel at home. They rather be with friends. They rather be with strangers. They rather be with whoever pretends to love them and lure them away from home, because something has broken in our homes. So can we rebuild? Can we establish a better family, a better system? Because the family should be a holistic organization where children thrive, where people grow in love, where people and given the opportunity to blossom, discover who they are, and fulfill their destiny. So is your home that place where children come and where your children are feeling safe, they are feeling comfortable, they are feeling home? Is your home that place where your children feel excited returning back? Is your home that environment where your children are feeling hard? Or is it the one where they feel they are dismissed, their opinion doesn't matter, their choices is ignored? Because sometimes we think it's being tough that raises responsible children. No. What raises responsible children is vision, boundaries, and accountability. When these are in place, and you understand that every stage of development, a child needs to be taught boundaries, a child needs to be taught responsibility and accountability, not just by teaching, but also by reflection of the parents, by the parents taking their own duty, responsibility of being accountable, being responsible, and doing what they say. So we will talk about, we need to understand that whatever we do over time becomes an experience for our children, and whatever they experience consistently becomes the belief system. Believe in themselves and believe in what others think about them. So if you want your children to have a particular belief ingrained in their mind, you have to create that belief system. Don't raise children who doubt who they are, because what you are doing is that you are exposing them to predators outside. If your children are doubting their identity, who they are, because of the way you are handling them, because of the way you are relating with them. You will cause them to embrace any identity imposed on them by strangers. And what strangers will always do, most strangers, is to prey on such children who lack confidence, who lack knowledge and assurance of who they are. So we must begin to raise children who know who they are, who can confidently say, defend, and challenge who they are. But they have to start having voices. Okay? So what are the signs that you have stories to rewrite? And I always tell everyone there must be something that needs to be rewritten. See, we are not saying we are looking for a perfect family or there's no perfect anything anywhere. There's no perfect family, there's no perfect parenting. But there are intentional families. There are families who are consciously working on refining and becoming better than what they came from. Don't let your family end or be an exact picture of where you are coming from. No matter how good where you are coming from is, there is something to improve upon. Because that's why you have scientific researches. That's why you have the advancement you are seeing in the world now. Improvement. So you have to be honest with yourself. There must be something that it may not be that bad, but it can be better. Because the more you refine, the more you are raising refined children who are fitted and suitable for the challenge of their own generation. And in our last teaching, I was challenging us on the importance of knowledge, the importance of acquiring knowledge, information, wisdom to help your children. Because if your children are raised by you and you have limited knowledge, you are shortchanging them. They will seek for that knowledge elsewhere, and God help them that they get the right knowledge. Because sometimes or most times their source is their peers or Google. And what you see in Google is what every other people write and send it out in blogs. And Google captures the algorithm. So it's not necessary that is even correct information that your children are being exposed to. But you can take that position of being the master of your own family with proper knowledge. So it can, the stories that can be written are a lot. It can be in different dimensions. It can be the way you react. Have you asked yourself if this is the right way, the best way to react? Is your reaction not inflicting pain on your children or even your partner? Is your reaction to situations not creating doubt and fears in your children? Some of us boast in how our children fear us. See, we should not raise children who fear us. We should raise children who respect, who reverence us. Children who honor us. Because these are the children who we make decisions based on honor and respect, not based on fear. So even if you are not there, your reverence is upon them. That respect is what will determine if they make decisions based on what you have taught them or not. But you see, your fear is only when they know you will find out or when you are seeing them. In other words, if they are sure mommy will not see them, if they are sure daddy is not there, they can go ahead and mess up. And the question is it the outcome of the kind of homes we want to raise? Children we want to raise? Children who are not reliable? Children who cannot make the best decision for their lives because we are not there. You know, sometimes when we are raising children, we think it's about us. Some of us are just interested so that they will not think I raise useless children, or they will not think I'm not raising them well. So our children see it more from our perspective, is about us. But then we have to turn it around. We are raising children because of them, so that they will be able to thrive, so that they will be able to be able to stand in their generation, making decisions that will help their lives even in our absence. So if you begin to see it in that perspective, it will begin to change your mindset and even the way you react when they make mistake. When they make mistake, it should be a reflection for you. Okay, it means I failed in this area. They've not grabbed this. It means they've not understood it. Because when they begin to understand it, it's about them. It's about keeping them safe. It's about helping them thrive. It's about helping them be the best of their own version. That's out there in the future. They are the ones that will take pride in what they have become. It will become their responsibility. They will own it. That's the place we are going. That's the point. That's the stage we are getting to. Where children begin to take the responsibility of being responsible children, because they understand it's about them, not about making mommy and daddy proud, not about proving to mommy and daddy they have raised responsible children. I hope someone is getting this. So if you notice any pattern that you don't like, maybe from your upbringing, that's a sign there is something to rewrite. If you struggle to express affection or patience, it's a sign there is something you are struggling with. There is something that you need to work on. Because it's quite understandable. Some of us didn't grow up in homes where it's easy to express love. Some of us, we are never told I love you. Some of us, in fact, when we hear the word I love you, we want to hide. It's a pattern. And then you see yourself, it's difficult for you to express love to your children. And I was telling us in our previous teachings, you see, in this dispensation, if you are raising children, you must overwhelm them. I know why I'm using that word. You must overwhelm them with love. Let them be fed up, like let them get it in overflow, so that when they are out there, they will not be needy children, seekers. They are the kind of children that are being taken advantage of, children who are void of love. They go out to seek for it. So even if it's tough, you telling your children I love you, learn it. While growing up, I can't remember my mom or my dad saying I love you. No, they never. I can't remember. Let me not use the word they never did. I don't remember them telling me that, but I knew somehow they do, because the way my mom would go, oh my, we are from Igbo, right, Africa. So in local language, you say, hey, nwa mu hụrụ n'anya, that kind of thing, nwa mu, you understand? Ogo nwa, like pet, kind of, is a kind of pet name. That's their own way of expressing love and affection, right? So while growing up, it was difficult for me to express love too. It was at some point I lived with my elder brother who has been exposed, right? Who will tell me, I love you, my baby girl. And initially, I was uncomfortable because I didn't grow up that way. But that act of expressing love to me and telling me helped me. So now I consciously tell my children I love you, peck them, hug them. In fact, now they are the one that has taken it to another level. In fact, how many times a day my daughter will come and say, "Hi, mommy, I love you, mommy. You are my best friend. You pet me." So what am I saying? Because from my own point, I didn't get that expression of love until I went to live with my elder brother who started it, and I captured it, introduced it in my own home. Now my children can easily tell you, "Daddy, I love you," and we express it like freely. What we have ingrained in their own subconsciousness is normal to express love to your family. So you will see it normalized when they grow, marry, to easily express love to their loved ones. So anything you struggle with, it's quite understandable that it was due to your upbringing. But don't let it repeat in your own home. That is the stories to rewrite. Those to start correcting. And I was telling us, raising the kind of children we are raising now, we need to be more intentional so that we don't get them deprived and push them away, seeking for it out there. Last week, I reminded us that nature abhors void. When you don't feel those void, your children will naturally seek it. And you know the strategies the system of the world is using to capture our children is those gaps we are not filling. So you see people trying to influence them, make them feel loved, accepted the way they are with all their faults, which the fault you are picking on, hammering on, is what those people in the world uses to capture them. Tell them you are okay the way you are. You don't have to change for anybody. No, you don't owe your life with anybody. What they are doing is reprogramming their mind. So when your children are constantly exposed to these people, either in school, either through your cartoons or through your movies or whatever they are exposed to, you see them begin to ignore you. Even if you don't tell them I love you, they don't care. They are getting it elsewhere. And at some point, you see that connection broken. So your children no longer expect anything from you. You have never told them you love you. You never show affection. You're always complaining. Your own is to complain, find fault. You see them begin to repel, resist you, and then drawing towards the other system that is selling self-love, self-acceptance. I know I'm speaking in code, but I still know that you have a deeper understanding. And I pray that God give you a deeper understanding. So the system of the world is to tell them, come the way you are. I love you the way you are. You don't have to change. In fact, you are the best. We will accept you the way you are. We will celebrate you the way we are. We will sponsor the way you are. But what the system of families does most times is to nag, hammer, pick on those faults. And nobody likes to stay in a place where they feel accused, judged,